Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to my review of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 18. I believe it's called The Frenemy of My Enemy. Okay? And this episode begins with basically with Fitz being chased by the second S.H.I.E.L.D., I guess, the Edward James Olmos version of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're tracking him. And of course, he manages to elude them and reunite with Hunter and Coulson. Okay, and now we flash back to the mysterious island where Skye is, and this is after she's had dinner with her parents, Crazy Cal and her mom, and basically her mom is explaining to her, actually no, they actually show the mom talking to Cal and about telling Cal they're gonna Gordon's gonna come and gonna take Cal away to let him go pick up a few things. And he's under the impression that he's going to come back and have further dinners and stuff with Skye and his wife. But unbeknownst to him, when Skye is with her mom is basically saying, that Cal can't stay there because he's a danger to himself and to their people. And so, and people get agitated around him. So Cal is going to drop off. He's not going to come back. Of course, Skye doesn't really want that because she actually kind of bonded with him when they had their dinner, and she knows that he's crazy and he gets out of control and stuff, but she really, doesn't really want him to be banished. And so she comes up with a compromise. She said, listen, let me go with him, okay, and at least that way I can hang out with him for a little bit, and then I can have S.H.I.E.L.D. come and at least because at first the mother was not caring whatever Cal did to anybody else. When Cal goes crazy, people tend to start to die. But Skye said, no, let me go with him and spend some time with him some more. And this time, once I decide to leave, I can call Gordon and I can have S.H.I.E.L.D. come and get him. And that at least to prevent him from, going nuts and killing people when he finds out that he's really been abandoned by his wife and daughter again. So anyway, they flash back to where the second S.H.I.E.L.D. is, and May finds out basically that the box that Simmons is working on is the fake box, and she reveals to her that she made a replica, and she gave Fitz, it was her plan to give Fitz the real thing, the Fury's toolbox. Of course, May is upset about this because she's working with the second S.H.I.E.L.D. and because she's telling Simmons that, listen, I want transparency. We have there's too many things that Coulson kept secret that have to come out into the light. And then you saw Bobby and Mac actually doing a little workout, a little sparring session where they're talking about their doubts and stuff about what's going on and stuff back and forth. And of course, talk about Hunter as well. And now Coulson comes up with a plan. He thinks that the best way to track down Skye is to go through Hydra, because apparently Hydra's been tracking superpowered people, and so they said the best way to do that is to and I guess that's hence the title of this episode, The Frenemy of My Enemy. So they said, let's get somebody who was with Hydra before. Let's get Agent Ward. So you see Agent Ward, actually you see Agent 33 with her new old face, I guess you could say. And she's on the phone with her mom, and her mom tells her, I guess, because you only hear her side of the conversation, does men came, look, okay, Mom, just hang up and I'll reach out when I can. She hangs up, and then of course Coulson's right there with a gun, and then of course then you see Ward come and try to get into a car, and then he gets the gun drawn on him, and Coulson makes him a deal. He said, listen, I'll you help me, infiltrate Hydra so we can track down the superpowered person who took Skye, so we can get Skye back, and I'll give you the Tahiti program. Well, I'll wipe down your memories, and let's give you a clean state, and you don't have to worry about us coming after you. And of course, Ward doesn't really want to do this, but he reluctantly agrees, but with the caveat, because you see him in a moment when he talks to Agent 33, he said, listen, we're just playing this, going along with Coulson for the moment, but my end game is I'm not going to have my memories wiped. Okay, I don't care what Coulson says. He said we're not gonna get my memory right. Anyway, so the plan is they get Mr. Bochy, who Agent 33. Last time we saw him, a couple episodes back, was getting tortured by Agent 33 to comply, and she was just again torturing just for all the torture that she went through. So they get him. They said they're going to use him to meet with the senior leader of Hydra right now, and that way they want to get to Stryker, who supposedly is in Europe. Okay, and they want to that way get their research because they know they're working on superpowered people, and they even show you a brief scene of them. They experimented on one of these guys that left that special magical island that Skye's on before they go hike. He said he's going backpacking, but you see in the episode earlier, you see basically he died with them experimenting on him, and they zipped him up in a body bag. So they figure they can track. Hydra has the ability to track superpowered people, and they can use that if they infiltrate Hydra to track down Skye and find out where she is. Okay, and so of course they go along with the plan. They have Agent Bochy go in with Deathlok as his personal bodyguard, and they're monitoring the conversation. When of course Agent Bochy basically offers up Deathlok as a bargaining tool, and of course Coulson pulls his gun out on Ward, and Ward pulls out his gun on him and Hunter, and then Agent 33 pulls a knife on Fitz, and Ward is basically trying to say, listen, we're just trying to guarantee that the Hydra's going to believe that Bochy is serious by offering up Deathlok. Okay, and then of course they kind of get to a stalemate, and then everybody pulls their guns back down and take the knives away from Fitz's neck, and they actually Deathlok was getting ready to fire his weapons once Bochy offered him up, but then Fitz depowered his weapons on the computer. And anyway, back to the S.H.I.E.L.D. ship where the Agent May said, listen, we can track Coulson, because Coulson's using Deathlok. Let's track him through his software. And we can track him that way. And also at the same time, Skye actually goes back with her dad, go back home. And he says he's going home. She thinks China, but he says, no, that's not where I was born. I was born, I think, in Michigan, I think that's where he says, Michigan? Or Milwaukee. No, Milwaukee. I'm sorry. He said Milwaukee. That's where he was born. So Gordon drops them off in Milwaukee, and Cal kind of walks around, and they get to know each other more. And you see they kind of bond. And Cal he has his moments, but he's really enjoying spending time with Skye. And of course, Skye is really, she's really, she's really bonding with him because he's her dad, and she doesn't really want to abandon him. But she knows, since her mother won't allow him to come back, that, listen, if I can just, spend some time with him and then call S.H.I.E.L.D. when I get a moment, so that way S.H.I.E.L.D. can make sure he doesn't flip out completely and start killing people. At least that way, I'll minimize the damage. Okay? Okay, so while they're walking on the street, they actually bump into somebody, and for a minute, Cal almost loses it, but Skye did it on purpose so she can pick somebody's pocket. So she has a phone, and she calls May and says, listen, May, I'm here with Cal. Can you send, somebody here to pick us up? Because I want to make sure Cal will go crazy when I leave him. And of course, so they send Bobby and Mac, to get them. Okay, and now at the same time, when Cal is walking back into the building with Skye, he sees the guy from the Tomorrow People, the guy with the electricity that was actually Skye's, I guess, guide for a little bit. He's actually been following them, and of course Cal sees it, and then he figures out, okay, this was just no father-daughter bonding. Says this was just a dump off. You was just gonna dump me off and abandon me again, and he's ready to flip out when, of course, you see Hydra's there, and Hydra starts shooting at him, and he says, take care of Skye, and he engages with the nuts and starts fighting them. And at the same time, you see Agent Bochy come along. They come, and you see actually the John from the Tomorrow People, he sees Deathlok, and they actually get into it. He fires his electricity at him and kind of depowers Deathlok for a moment, and they're struggling, and that's when Bochy comes up, and he flips out, and he turns on both of them and zaps both of them and takes them off, and then Coulson and they come in and they shoot out and kill a bunch of people, but Hydra gets away again. And then, of course, then Bobby and Matt finally show up after everybody's gone and abandoned. And you see Coulson still there, and Coulson said, "You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna turn myself in." And then that's how it ends, with him turning himself in. Okay, this is a pretty good episode. A lot of interesting, moving things were happening, and I love the moments with Crazy Cal. Kyle MacLachlan is great as Kyle. He's just fantastic. You know, trying to keep it all together and just being happy to be reunited with his daughter and his family and stuff. And then when he finds out it's not really the case, and then you have Coulson having to team up with Ward again, and Fitz. There's a moment on the plane, I forgot to mention that else as well, where Ward has the nerve to ask Fitz, "How's it going?" And Fitz has you see he has a gun. He actually tries to go for to Ward, but they stop him. Coulson and Hunter stop him, which that moment was priceless as well. But this is a pretty good episode. A lot of things happening, and Agent Bochy's back in the mix because, like I said, he was brainwashed, from what Agent 33 did to him. But it looks like from what his actions at the end of this episode that he's not brainwashed anymore. Okay, that he just flipped the switch and he got Deathlok and that Inhuman John, who was John for the Tomorrow People. But they have him and you have Deathlok, and that's how it goes off. So I'm assuming next week that's when everybody with both shields will team up to go after Hydra in one last final swoop, which will be good. Okay, and again, I'll give this episode this is a pretty good episode, pretty moved. I'll give it a 7.5. A lot of things happened. And bonus for having Crazy Cal in this episode. I loved him and Skye bonding. Okay, that was fantastic to me. Anyway, let me know what you think of this episode. Feel free to leave comments down below. And this is Trey Passer saying so long and take care.